The Unacademy live platform. My name is Arifa Zahir, and in today's class, we are going to discuss advertising. So before we begin the class, let me check and see who are there in the class. So whoever's there in the class, hi guys. Could you quickly confirm your presence? Hello everyone. All right, let's begin with the class. Hi, once again, my name is Arifa Zahir, and in today's class, I will be talking about advertising. Now, advertising as a common speaking topic is, like said, very common. You often get this topic in the IELTS examination. Now, IELTS examination can be clearly divided into two separate categories when it comes to speaking. One category is when the questions are repeated all the time. That means throughout the year, the questions are continuously repeated. That's the one category. And the other category is where they come up with the various kind of abstract questions. Now, advertising falls in that common category where the questions get repeated all the time. So without much ado, let's begin the class today. Before I begin, my referral code is BE Trainers. Let's go back and try the pen. Guys, I'm absolutely fine. It's just I am absolutely fine, feeling good about the whole thing, and lovely to have all of you in the class. Hi Neha, hi Vishnu, hi Ratna, hi Tharia, hi Sunil. So yeah, hi guys, and welcome to the class. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. Now, my referral code, like I said, is BE Trainers. If you subscribe to the Unacademy platform, with this referral code, you will be getting a 10% discount. Before I begin, my Instagram handle and Telegram handle, both are called IELTS with Arifa. So if you would like to join my Instagram group or Telegram group, this is the handle that you should be looking for. Now let's move ahead. Unacademy is currently providing 20,000 plus free live classes. If you are interested in attending these classes, you should be visiting the Unacademy website immediately. Excuse me. Now, a little bit about the different types of subscriptions that Unacademy provides. Uh, Today's class is going to be like the other classes that we've had in the past in regard to speaking. I'm going to share the vocab with you. I'm going to talk about part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the IELTS speaking test. And if after that you feel that you would like to discover more and get to know more about Unacademy, come to the live platform where you can discover a range of tutors who are all experts in the field, and then decide for yourself whether you would like to take a subscription. The 5 different types of subscriptions are the 1 month subscription, which is for 2,700, the 3 months 16,750, the 6 months 10,800, the 12 months 13,500, and the 24 months 21,600. Further on this, you can get a 10% off if you use my subscriber code BE Trainers. My subscriber code again is BE Trainers. Now, a little bit about myself. My name is Arifa Zahir, and I'm the founder of British English Trainers, which is an institute in the eastern part of the country, Kolkata. Here, I teach TOEFL, provide training for IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, General, and Communicative English, and also provide assistance in writing the statement of purpose. I'm a plus educator on the Unacademy platform. My educational background includes Masters in English Literature and CELTA from Cambridge University. I have an overall experience of more than 13 years when it comes to IELTS. I began my IELTS career as an administrator with the British Council and then moved on to training. On that note, let's start the class today. So, what is it about the IELTS speaking test which is so scary for the students. Is it the idea of going into an examination room and speaking with one person without anyone being there? So, before I begin the class today, I would like to ask all of you this question. What do you fear the most when it comes to the IELTS speaking? So, hi Yashvi, hi Sunil, and Shubho Novoborshu to everyone, and to from whichever part of the country you are, Happy New Year. So, what do you fear the most about the IELTS speaking exam, guys? That's a question that I would be really I would really want to know from all of you, because a lot of students tell me, thank you, Neha, that they are quite scared of the IELTS speaking test. But this is one examination where you do not need to be scared at all, because the examiner will talk to you like as if she's always known you. It's going to be a very comfortable environment, and some a lot is going to be dependent on how comfortable you are already. So since it's an exam, you could be nervous, but there is always an option to ask for a glass of water, relax for a little bit, and then begin the IELTS speaking test. All right. So yeah, meet with the examiner. That means the examiner checks your ID. When she checks your ID, she looks for information out there which should be matching with the information that she already has. And what is your ID? Your ID is your original valid passport. I repeat, your ID should be your original valid passport. That means if you've submitted your passport for the visa, you will not be able to give the IELTS speaking test. So these are things you should be absolutely aware of before giving the IELTS examination. Now let's begin. Now, the IELTS exam, like I said earlier, is divided into part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the test. The part 1 of the test is in regard to normal interview questions, where you will be asked questions for 4 to 5 minutes. Now, these questions are questions which you shouldn't be answering in monosyllables. You should be taking your time to answer these questions and then approach it in a very relaxed manner. So, um, one, two, or three sentences should be more than enough in part one of the IELTS speaking test. Don't speak too less, don't speak too more. And that is an advice that I give to all my students when it comes to part one of the speaking test. Now, part two is going to be 1 minute prep time and 2 minutes stop time. So you'll get only a minute to prepare, and that is an ideal time for you to take down, to write down bullet points. I would say write the main vocab ideas and then expand on it later. And part 3 of the IELTS speaking test is a discussion exam test. That means you will have to give your opinions in regard to the different questions which will be asked to you. Please remember, again, this is going to be for 4 to 5 minutes. So it's very, very important that you take your time to answer the questions. Otherwise, the examiner is going to continuously ask questions to you. Now, we've got Yashvi commenting. So, Yashvi, it is not scary, but speaking in front of a new person, we get confused as we have the examination thing in our mind. I agree, Yashvi, that is a scary thing because the person is new to you. Now, the best thing for you to prepare for the exam would be, like I said, there's certain questions which get repeated all the time. So you would be preparing all of these questions in advance, and you may never know. You may strike gold and get lucky and get a question that you've already prepared. At BET, which is my institute, 90% of cases students get exactly the same question which they've prepared in advance, because the questions get repeated in IELTS speaking all the time. So maintain a vocab bank, maintain a diary where write down all these vocabulary sentence formations, and then prepare yourself for the examination. With now, let's move ahead. Now the marking pattern is exactly the same. You've got grammar and lexical resource, fluency and coherence and pronunciation when it comes to the IELTS speaking test. So all of these count for 25% of the total marking scheme. The band score calculation is always an overall taken from the four skills. Try not using stereotypical vocabulary. This is an advice that I like to give to all my students. And some of the examples have been given to you out here. Try using two different things, collocations and idiomatic language. When it comes to IELTS speaking test, it's very, very important, guys, that unlike the IELTS writing test where you wouldn't be allowed to use idioms at all, in the case of IELTS speaking, if you use collocations, use idioms and phrases, you would be getting a higher band score for your lexical resource. So why waste time and not prepare ourselves when we know exactly how we can score? So this would be an ideal option for all the students who would like to sound more, sound like a higher band score speaker. Use vocabulary of different types. Use vocabulary which will show not only where you don't repeat, but also where you can show your vocab expertise. All right. So I would say prepare yourself with synonyms. Okay, our pen was there. So prepare yourself with synonyms, collocations, and idiomatic language when it comes to IELTS speaking. Now, synonyms is something that you can also use when it comes to IELTS writing. Examiners all want students to come up with a variety of words and not use the same repetitive words, because you would be happy to know that in IELTS writing too, vocabulary is an area where you can score easily. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you shouldn't be repetitive. Now, accuracy and grammatical structure is very important in the IELTS examination, specifically more in writing, but also of equal importance in speaking. One of the major criteria where students lose their scores are, firstly, it's the countable and the uncountable noun. So I'm going to play a quick game with all of you. Some of my students already know this, and you will have to tell me whether it is a countable noun or an uncountable noun. So are you ready to play this game with me? Yes? Okay, so we are very quickly going to give you some words and I would like your response on them. Alright? So we shall begin with hair. Hair, like in hair. So countable, C for countable, UC for uncountable. Very good. Temperature. Okay. Mm. And so we'll go with sand. It is uncountable, guys. Temperature is uncountable. Sand. Sand is uncountable again. And a very easy one, I would say bottle. Bottles are countable, guys. And the last one, luggage. Luggage, weirdly, is uncountable. So on that note, let's move ahead and get to know more about subject-verb agreement. Now, another thing that is equally important in the IELTS speaking test is your correlation of the subject with the verb. If the subject is singular, then the verb also needs to be singular. And if the subject is plural, then the verb needs to be plural. It should be very clear to all of you that when it comes to subject-verb agreement in the IELTS speaking test, there are few things which are very, very important. Firstly, the third person singular pronoun, where the verb in the singular ends with an S. That is the only one where the main verb ends with an S in the third person singular. And every other verb, first person singular, plural, second person singular, plural, and third person plural, none of the verbs end with an S. So these are things that you should be absolutely aware of when it comes to grammar. Other things which are equally important are tenses, word stress, fluency using gap fillers, pronunciation, be clear in what you're saying, using linking devices. Now, linkers are very, very important in the IELTS speaking test. I would suggest that you take a screenshot of this image and keep it with you, because when it comes to speaking, you need a lot of linkers to make your speaking cohesive. Now, linkers is a huge part of coherence and fluency and cohesion. So it's very, very important that you use linkers to connect the different stages in your IELTS speaking. If you are able to do that, only then will you be able to sound confident, sound fluent, and you'll be fluent, and there'll be a correlation with what you are saying. So there are a few linkers. Please take a screenshot so that you can refer back to it anytime you need it. Today in our IELTS speaking, we will be seeing its usage, and that will make things even clearer for you to understand. Now, this is generally, the linkers are used in both IELTS Part 2 of the speaking test and Part 3 of the speaking test. Generally, language of opinion is usually used in Part 3 of the IELTS speaking test. So if you are a speaker who tends to not use language of opinion, you would be having a problem in Part 3 of the IELTS speaking test, because the questions are such that you would have to begin by saying, I believe, I think, in my opinion, according to me, as per my knowledge. So if you're doing that, then you sound more convincing, more confident, and it comes across as someone who knows what they are saying. So this is a very important stage, and you should make the most of it. All right. Now, more than that, let's see. Now we come to the meet and greet part, and now this particular portion is right before the IELTS speaking test. Now we are jumping into the questions for advertisement. Now what happens here is the examiner asks you for your original valid passport. Guys, I repeat again, if you submitted your passport to the visa officer or to the visa people, you are not going to be allowed to give the IELTS examination. So be absolutely clear when it comes to your passport. It has to be original, it has to be valid, and it has to be there with you on the day of the examination. And only then can you give the test. So now generally what happens before the examiner starts asking you questions are, the examiner asks you by introducing himself or herself. Greetings, I'm Arifa Zahir. What can I call you? What's yours? I'm Raj Sharma. People call me Ravi. Or my name is Ravi Jha. Just call me Raj. Second question, generally it is, where are you from? Where do you come from? Could you tell me where do you come from? So you can say anything. I'm from Kolkata, which is in the eastern part of the country. And it's a beautiful place. And I love Kolkata. Give some information, but don't give a lot of information, because that you would generally be doing in part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. Now, before I show you the questions and we discuss the answers, Let me answer what Dhairya is asked. Ma'am, what should be the right strategy to prepare for speaking module? Now, Dhairya, before I start with the prep work for the advertising topic, it's very, very important that you maintain, just like, do you have a notebook for IELTS? Tell me that. It's a very important question I ask all my students. Is your notebook divided into speaking, listening, writing, and reading? Now that's another thing. You have to have a method, a very precise approach to the IELTS exam. It's just specifically now when the times are such that you cannot meet your teachers often. You will have to self-motivate yourself. And self-motivation means you'll have to maintain a proper notebook where you're preparing for your IELTS examination. So you take a speaking topic, Dhairya. I'll just share the speaking part 1 question with you. So we are still at the ID part. So I will come to the prototypes later. But now, these are common part 1 introduction or warm-up questions that we have in the IELTS speaking test. So you should be having a notebook where you have the part 2 specifically. It's the part 2 and the part 3, which are a cause of major concern in the IELTS examination. Because part 1 generally is very easy. So how do you prepare for the part 2 of the IELTS speaking test? So you've got a topic. First and foremost, you immediately write the topic, the words that come to your mind when you think about that topic. I played this game with my students on the Unacademy website. Guys, I am currently doing a course which will cover speaking also, generating vocab and ideas for speaking. If you are a subscriber, please come to my classes at 9 p.m. on the Unacademy live platform. In fact, tomorrow itself, we will be doing a speaking class. So that would be the right place for you to come and further get to know more. But apart from that, right now, how do you do it? So we maintain a vocab bank. We take any word and we divide it into verb, noun, adverb and adjective, adjective and adverb. So that's how we maintain a vocab bank. So you should have the ability to use the same word in 4 different ways. In their 4 different forms. So what happens is that not only prepares you for your speaking, but it also prepares you for your writing. So for example, I use a word like say describe and I say description. I have used 2 different words. They are not the same words. And that is the reason why I will be getting marks for the IELTS speaking lexical resource. So that's how you do it, Dhairya. I hope that I've been able to answer your question in regard to the prep work. Make a complete list of words that come to your mind when you think about a particular topic, and then write your speaking part 2 and part 3 topic like you would be writing your writing task 2 or writing task 1. Write down your ideas. Put them in bullet point format so that you know exactly. Speak to yourself. Look at the mirror and speak to yourself. Expand your ideas. Be creative. Record your own voice. And once you've recorded your own voice, listen to your voice and see where are you getting stuck? Where are you making pronunciation errors? Where are you making your grammatical errors? Or get it checked by someone whose grammar knowledge is more than you. Yes, there are absolutely. There are 2 things which are very common in the IELTS speaking test. One is the common topics, like I told right at the beginning of the class today. 2 things come all the time in the IELTS examination. One is the common topics for speaking continuously. You'll have something on your favorite author, favorite writer, favorite actor, actress, book, advertising, food, business, a lot of these topics which get repeated all the time. And then there is the other one which is on abstract topics. Talk about a time when you got lost in a crowd. So, those are abstract topics. On the Unacademy live platform, I have already, Unacademy website, I've done classes on both common topics and abstract topics. So if you are a subscriber, you will have access to that. So Daria, are you a subscriber? Hi Girish. If you're a subscriber, you would definitely have access to that, Daria. Absolutely. It goes for both speaking and writing. So I hope I've answered questions in relation to these, you know, these general queries for all of you in the class. And I hope various questions have helped all of you. Now let's move ahead with the class. Now, before I begin, it's very, very important to note that when it comes to part 1 of the IELTS speaking test, the questions are very common. Generally, part 1 may be correlated to part 2 and 3 or may not be correlated at all. So these are the common type of questions that come all the time. You can prepare this for yourself, all these questions, and you would be good for part 1. Ma'am, did you have video reading? No, Girish, I don't have video reading out here. I just speak by myself. Now, some questions on home too. Guys, all these questions are for all of you. Please refer to these questions. Prepare your answers. These are the most common part 1 IELTS speaking topics that come. So if you prepare yourself for these questions, rest assured you will be able to answer a lot of queries, answer a lot of questions when you are asked in the IELTS speaking test. Today, after the class gets over, watch this video again. Go slowly. Look at the questions, note them down, write them down. And whatever vocabulary strategies have been discussed, try to adopt them at home to become better users of vocabulary. Now, the 10 questions that examiners always ask, I've already put some of it for you out here. Here you can replace it with the verb of your choice and then answer these questions. Guys, do it with someone at home. You can also do it with people who you are about to give the IELTS exams with, or with someone who is maybe at your own level or a little more knowledgeable than you when it comes to language. All right. Now let's move ahead. Some more questions. Guys, please go through all this. Keep a note of it. I have it. I put these on all my slides so that you guys get the opportunity to use this in your examination. Now, pronunciation and vocabulary on the topic advertisement. Yes, Kancham. Next time, be on time. Tomorrow, we will be conducting an FOD, Forum of Discussion on IELTS Writing Task 2. So be there, guys. You wouldn't want to miss my classes because we will be discussing vocabulary strategies in detail. So that would be at 6:45 tomorrow. I'll just write it down so that you don't lose. You do not forget, 6:45 p.m. tomorrow, forum of discussion on writing topics. Okay, now let's move ahead. So these are questions which are on part 1 of the IELTS speaking test on advertisement. Now look at how two things have been used out here. You can see the ones in red have been marked to specifically show you the usage of linkers. Linkers are very important. Signposting language is very important in the IELTS speaking examination. So look at this question. As far as I know, certainly not. They're all commercial channels and show adverts all day long. So are there any TV channels in your country that don't have adverts? So you can see TV channels have been called commercial channels, and we've started with as far as I know, certainly, and especially in soap operas where they place an item just behind the actors. So you'll see a lot of these Hindi serials where they are drinking Pepsi, Coke, or whatever kind of a drink, and they're doing an advertisement for that within the channel itself. So you could quote examples from anywhere. Do you enjoy watching adverts on TV? Only if the content has meaningful message in it, I hate commercial breaks during a film. It really spoils the flow. And during prime time viewing, they seem to squeeze even more ads in than usual. Celebrity endorsements also get on my nerves. So, I get very irritated with celebrity endorsements. Could be written as celebrity endorsements also get on my nerves. Now, get on my nerves is, let's see who can answer that. What is get on my nerves, guys? Let's see who can answer that question. What kind or which category does it come under in the IELTS speaking exam? Now, get on my nerves is an idiomatic language. Very good, Neha. Got that right on. So if you use language like this in the IELTS speaking test, you will score a lot of marks because the examiner is looking for a higher range of vocabulary, and only someone who is a B2 plus, where we say upper intermediate and above, would be able to use vocabulary, idiomatic language in a good manner. But remember one thing, idiomatic language is informal language and cannot be used in IELTS writing test. Yes, it is quite. So these are the questions. What are the best ways for ordinary people to advertise something they want to sell in your country? The simplest way to place an advert in something like the classified ad section of a local newspaper, or there's the internet, of course. There are lots of sites like eBay where you can buy and sell things also. So that was part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. Some questions. Generally, a lot of students answer with monosyllables. That would be dangerous and you would never want to do that. Expand with 1 or 2 sentences and you would be at a good place. Now this one, describe an advert you once saw that was very effective. You should say where this advert appeared, when you saw it, what it was advertising, and say why you thought it was so effective. Now these 4 questions have been answered separately for you. Make the most of it. Look at these answers. A few years ago, I've begun with a signposting language. Now before you start with a few years ago, what are you going to say, Neha? There are nothing. Just make a list of these idioms, get to know the meaning, and then start writing it in your sentences. That's it. The more you learn how to write using them, the more you'll be able to use them while speaking. But be careful, you can't use it in IELTS writing examination. Hi Vishal. Hi Ratna. So yeah, Neha, how would you start? Ratna, how would you start a question from IELTS speaking part 2? Can we get an answer on that, guys? Very good, Ratna. We would use, thank you for the given question, ma'am. Exactly. Shravan, hi, Shravan. Sunil. Sunil, we start by acknowledging the question. Thank you for the given question, ma'am. I would like to talk about an advertisement which I saw a few years ago. And then you could start off with this. So we always start with the prototype. We say, this is an interesting question. Thank you for the given topic, ma'am. It is such an unusual, uncommon, humorous, whatever adjective suits the question, you would be using that particular adjective, right? Now, coming back to the part 2. So, this is how you would answer where this advert appeared. Look at how it's been used. So, advert has been called advertisement. Obviously, again, that is a vocabulary synonym. So, it's important to understand. In fact, advertisement is not only a synonym. An advert and advertisement can be used vice versa because there are 2 different ways of calling the same thing. So actually nowadays, again we've got nowadays signposting language. However, yes Shravan, I do teach TOEFL, but that's a topic for a different day. Right now, let's concentrate on the speaking. you could talk to me on the Unacademy app in regard to that. All right. Now, let's move ahead. There's so many advertisements on mass media like TV, internet, or radio that people just take them for granted in some ways. However, there's some commercials that are truly interesting, creative, and meaningful. One such ad that created a strong impression on me is the one regarding the contribution of mothers, the great contribution of mothers to the children, and it was broadcasted on the local channel on Mother's Day. Now, what do you see out here which is truly unique in this para? It is the usage of different adjectives. So it's very, very important to understand that the usage of different adjectives is very important in the IELTS speaking test to score marks, and say why you thought it was so effective. Now you can see there's another link out here. Now going on to my next point, which is what its content is. The point I like to make here is that unlike other commercials, advertisements, advert commercials, look at the variety that are utilized to promote products and services. This one is not about any product, but dedicated to appreciating the youth sacrifice of mothers. And it goes on to say, and you can see right towards the end, in the end, I would like to end by saying, I hope that in the future, the advertisement would be invested more in terms of contents, not just about exaggerating products. So you can see how signposting language or linkers have been used at every stage so that it makes your writing more cohesive. All right. And towards the end, these are the part 3 questions. You can see at every stage we have used the signposting language, linkers definitely. For example, are there many advertisements in your country? Definitely there are. They appear all over the place from the streets to social media with a high density. For example, there's a multitude of colorful flyers pasted on the street walls in India. So you can see all of it. Look at the vocab which has been used below. The expressions have been clarified for you. So that's it, guys. And look at the different questions. I hope all these things have clarified your doubts, and now you would be able to maintain your own vocab bank and write answers to your questions and then prepare for your speaking. The more you write, the more ideas will flow, and once you feel the ideas have started coming, then you can work on speaking only and then let go of writing. All right? So what are the various places where we see advertisements? It is evident that the advertising is here, there, and everywhere. Yes, Ratna, especially now it would be one of the best advertisements to talk about. Now, before I end, guys, how do you feel about advertisements? Overrated, launch, promotions, everything has been used. Sometimes I find it a little bit disappointing because the quality products are usually overrated. However, there are other beneficial advertisements in supermarkets which has informative contents for customers, such as on which days there will be promotions or which new products will be launched. So these are the questions. The vocab is there. Please watch this again. Get to look at the material that has been used. Look at the usage of adjectives. Look at the usage of nouns. Look at the usage of verb, adverb, and then expand yours. And if you want a higher band score, use idiomatic language correctly in the IELTS speaking test with correct grammar and be fluent. The most important thing, do not hesitate. Keep on talking in the IELTS speaking test. All right? And more questions here for you to refer to. More questions, please refer to them. Look at what things do advertising companies do that might give it a bad name. For me, the most irritating is cold calling. We must get 2 or 3 of these every day at work. Then there's junk mail that gets through the letterbox. And of course, the online equivalent of this, spam emails. I think it's this kind of advertising that tends to annoy people. Now, more vocab, you can use all of this and lots of vocab, and you can use again all of this. This is all for you guys to use. And with that, I come to the end of today's class. If you are a subscriber, you could come to my classes at 9 p.m. Tomorrow's class is at 9 p.m. So you could come to my class tomorrow at 9 p.m. Vocabularies for speaking, latest topics. And if you're not a subscriber, please use my subscription code BE Trainers and take a subscription. If you are someone who's at the intermediate level, you would need a 3-month subscription. But if you're someone who is at upper intermediate and at advanced, a 1-month subscription would be more than enough for you. And on that note, I would like to end today's class. Referral code again BE Trainers, and like in Unacademy we say, let's crack it. And thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's class, and I look forward to seeing you on the Unacademy live platform. Today we have a class at 10 p.m. on the Unacademy website, a special class on IELTS reading. So yes, look forward to seeing you there. Today's topic is on, guess what? Let's see if anyone can make a guess on what is today's topic. What's the today 10 p.m. topic on reading? Let's see who can answer that question for me. No, Vasquez. Today's topic is on IELTS reading, and we would be doing matching the headings today. With that, on that note, I would like to end today's class and see you on the Unacademy live platform on the Unacademy website next. Tomorrow we meet again. Come to my classes both on the website and on the Unacademy live YouTube channel. Thank you guys. Bye.